Another game, another 4 points. Tiger fans, the round 9 debrief, where we've just scraped over the line against the West Coast Eagles, 11-15-81 to 11-13-79 by 2 points. It was actually a pretty heated and okay contest, I thought, watching it back on replay. It just sort of seemed like it was two teams competing really hard, knowing that they were a good chance to win, and the pressure rating kind of reflected that, as often both teams were in the high 190s into the 200s. So I actually thought it was a reasonable contest, to be honest. But let's talk about the heroics of Tom Brown in that last dying 30 seconds with his amazing tackle, as the Eagles were almost certainly about to, at a minimum, get an easy shot on goal, streaming inside 50. But he obviously missed the first body-on-body contact in the initial contest in the centre square, and then made up for it with some great explosive speed in the dying seconds when players are usually a bit cooked by then. He knew he owed the team one, and that was genuinely a game-saving tackle. And you could obviously see the emotion in the coach's box with Uze. The crowd went ballistic, and that iced the game. So what a special moment for him. I mean, commentators call it tackle of the year. Hard not to be when it actually probably won us the game, in all honesty. But yeah, I think we got away with one a little bit, because there was another West Coast player about 5 or 10 metres ahead of the ball that they could have passed it on to before that point in time. But we'll take it. We'll take the tackle. We'll take the 4 points any way we can. A couple of players I want to talk about quickly. Jonty Fall. I want to give some love to Jonty Fall. He only had, well, I say only, he had 12 disposals. He had 3 marks, 2 tackles, didn't kick a goal. And, you know, in a game like this where they were missing Oscar Allen, they were missing McGovern, it probably seemed like on the surface a game that Jonty should have been able to hit the scoreboard and make a bit of a fist of it. But I still think that was probably one of his best games for the club. And I know it's only a short window that we can judge that by, given it's his 5th game or something. But if you go back and watch, for those who are at the game, if you go back and actually watch the replay, the amount of hard running he does to get from contest to contest, just to get a fist in, just to lay body on someone to spoil the ball. Like, he was bringing the ball to ground so well, not to mention the amount of times he just quickly tapped it over his head or tapped it off to the side to a player in advantage. I think there was one late in the game where he tapped it to Tom Lynch, who snapped a goal, but it was then overturned because it was touched off the boot. But smart things like that are really, really good to see. And he's actually quite clean and nimble below his knees as well. Like, the amount of times the ball was in dispute around his area and he would just come barging through, pick the ball up, burrow his head in, get the ball, handball it out to another player. It's exactly what you want to see. I mean, you want to see it from your small forwards, but no one was really doing that. So he took it upon himself to get in there and win the dirty ball and get it out to the guys who could be in a better position to score a goal. So I think if you go back and watch Jonty Fall's game, a game like that to me showed why we rated him so highly as the number 1 key forward of the crop. Just the sheer work rate. I don't think there'd be many first-year forwards that would have the ability to get from contest to contest like he has. And I think it's really impressive. And while he didn't get the reward of a goal, took some great grabs, did a lot of the hard work and the work that didn't look as sexy, but it really helped the team out. So hopefully he can get some reward for effort in the coming games with some goals, because he's done some really, really good things, and I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing from him. Tom Sims, I've got to mention Tom Sims, who on debut had the 6 disposals, 2 marks, including the one great contested mark that led to his first goal, which, what a moment for him and his family to make his debut and to kick a goal on debut as well. Pretty special. 3 tackles, 3 hit-outs, 1 clearance. I thought, again, similar to Jonty Fall, he competed really, really well. And we knew we were going to get that. We knew we were going to get that from what we see in the VFL of him. But he didn't really look too out of place. I know the numbers aren't massive numbers, but he was flying for his marks. He also took that good contested mark. What I liked about his ruck work is when the tap was finished and the ball hit the ground, he was bursting and trying to push forward and trying to impact the next contest. Like, he wasn't just lumbering around. So he's actually got pretty good mobility and speed for a guy of his size, which is something that was noted in his drafting notes as well. So that was really good to see. And I reckon that he's the best answer we have for a backup ruckman. I know he went up against a secondary ruck that wasn't, as beastly as maybe some other secondary rucks. You wouldn't throw him to the wolves against a Max Gawn or a Tristan Sherry next week or anything like that, of course. You'd make sure Nank was doing that load. But I thought as a backup ruck, I thought he did really well. And I thought his forward work was good too. What about that laser pass he hit Tom Lynch with as well, if you don't mind? on the 50-metre line on the boundary, very similar to Harry Armstrong's pass earlier in the year. So the common theme we're seeing with these big guys that we've drafted, they've all got pretty good foot skills. They're able to hit targets like it's smaller forward or a midfielder can, which is really good. So he showed some great composure there too, and he helps up a couple of goals. So good debut from Sims. I would anticipate he'll probably play again next week, to be honest. I thought we looked better having 3 taller marking options. We were able to bring the ball to ground a bit more, albeit against a slightly weaker defensive opposition, but we still had to implement it and still had to execute it, which they seemed to do, which was good to see. Kane McAuliff, I want to mention as well, 12 disposals, 1 mark, 6 tackles, 2 clearances, and I think he was equal second or third for pressure acts in the team. Now, whilst he only had 12 disposals, I think it's really, really important to note that with Kane McAuliff's game, he had the second least amount of time on ground. The only person who had less time on ground was the sub in Trezise. So he even had less time on ground than Dow, who was subbed off. So to do the numbers that he did in that short amount of time was seriously impressive, in my opinion. He had a couple of flying shots at goal. Probably should have had 1 or 2 himself, to be honest. He got himself in some really good spots early. But I've seen a lot of comments about that he faded and did this and did that. I don't really think it was fading out of the game. I think it was more just he wasn't actually on the ground. 69% game time is quite low for any player. So whether they were easing him in just being his first game back in the midfield or what it was. But from what I saw in there, I thought he had a really good impact. I liked his physicality, his toughness, his hard edge. He tagged Harley Reid for a little bit as well, which is a great learning curve. Was able to get forward and become an offensive option, but just didn't convert those chances. And again, I've said it before, we've got to keep playing him. We've got to leave him in the seniors and see what he can do, because I thought he showed some really, really good signs and most definitely worth persevering with, because you would love to see what those numbers get up to when he's getting 75, 85% time on ground. So well done to Kane McAuliff. I think I'll be really gutted if he gets dropped off the back of that. I thought that was a really, really good game. Luke Traynor, again, had a really nice game. 18 disposals, 3 marks, 2 tackles, and almost kicked his first goal in a bit of play dead for a little bit, didn't he? Then got up and darted off and almost jagged a goal. He's starting to push forward a bit more. I'm not sure if there's been a bit of a subtle role change for him or a license to go and do something a little bit different. But I've noticed the last couple of games, he's been definitely getting higher up the ground and getting the ball inside 50 a bit more, and or being in a position to have a shot himself. So again, another really solid game from Luke Traynor, who is quite quickly becoming the steal of the draft, if he isn't already. And Sam Banks, who was probably one of our best on the day, 28 disposals, 6 marks, 1 tackle, 2 clearances, and a team high 660 metres gain, which is a really, really good number. With the late out of Jaden Short, it kind of looked like that Sam Banks took on a bit of that role of the half back line, and I really liked what he did. And is it worth persevering with? Like, does Jaden Short have to fight to come back in, or does he have to find a different spot? Because we seem to function a little bit better off the half back line with the rebound and the run and the spread. So I thought Sam Banks did a really, really good job. And 28 disposals, I'm thinking that's probably career high for him. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but yeah, really, really impressed with that as well. Seth Campbell's the last one I want to mention as well. 19 disposals, 1 mark, 6 tackles, 2 clearances. It was really good to see him up around some stoppages, whether it was defensively or around the middle of the ground. I thought that was a good thing to see as well. And 2 goals, hit the scoreboard again. Look, he's obviously still a very, very young player, so we are going to see some inconsistencies with his performances. But when he's on, geez, he looks good. Good pace, strong mark, good goal sense. Could have given one over the top, but he snapped it himself. But yeah, very, very good to see. On the team stats quickly, 54 inside 50s, that's the sweet spot. I'm pretty sure it was EJ that said it was 50 to 55. I know West Coast got that as well. But yeah, 50 to 55 is where you want to be for your inside 50. So very good that we hit that. Hit-outs, 40 to 38. Clearances, we only lost by 1. Centre clearances, we did get beaten 9 to 16, so that's somewhere we need to improve. You could definitely tell when they had Liam Ryan in there, Harley Reid when he was on, that they were able to get it out fairly well. And the Liam Ryan piece sort of further shows to me how good it is to have someone with explosiveness in there, like what Cosy Pickett done for Melbourne a few weeks ago as well. Contested possessions, we won 143 to 130, which was good. Uncontested was one in it, 201 to 202. Marks inside 50, we took 10, which was good. That's a couple above our season average. Contested marks, we took 12, which is 3 above our season average, which is good. Tackles, we only had 56, but that's still above our season average. Tackles inside 50, though, 17 tackles inside 50 is double the amount of our yearly average of 8, or over double our yearly average of 8. That's a really good sign. That just shows the good forward pressure, able to cause those turnovers in the front half, which generally lead to scores. So that is the round 9 debrief against the West Coast Eagles. Good to get the 4 points. The fact that we've won 3 games so far this year, which is one more than what we did last year in totality, is a very, very good sign with a lot less experience at our disposal. So to me, that's a big tick. Obviously a long way to go. There's still plenty of things to work on and improve on, but you can't not be happy with winning 3 games so far. It's a good sign. It's good reward for Uze's effort, good reward from the players' effort. And yeah, now we've got North Melbourne this week. So hopefully we can have another pretty good and competitive game. But let us know what you think in the comments below. What did you make of the game against the Eagles? Who are your votes? Who was your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? And yeah, we'll see you tonight for the Monday Night Live show, 8:30 p.m. Make sure you join us then.